currently painting a door hanger, and on a lot of these door hangers we have score lines for you. See the score lines in there? And that's to help you paint so you're not all on your own when it comes to freehand painting. There are these score lines to help you. It's like a coloring book, okay? So, but a lot of people worry that they don't have a steady enough hand to paint inside the lines and make the painting look good. But I just want to show you that even if you don't have a steady hand, it's not really an issue. You can see that I'm painted over the score line here, right? You see that all the way up there. It doesn't look fantastic, but why I wanted to record this quick little 2-minute video is to show you the before and after stages of hand painting a door hanger, which so many people are scared to do. So I'm going to finish this over the next couple of hours. It usually takes me a couple of hours to paint a door hanger. One, because, well, there's a lot of steps. There's a lot of space. These are usually around 20 inches. And everything requires 2 coats of paint. And I'm usually at home watching Netflix or something while I paint if I'm not in the studio. So I take a lot of extra time to get that stuff done. So come back and see the next video, which will be posted right after this one. I don't know that I can post them in one posting, one posting on Facebook. So you might have to look for the second one. All right, we'll see you in a bit. So I've painted a few colors now, and let's see if I can show you kind of what it looks like so far. So like right there, you can see that my painting inside the coloring lines, not fantastic, but ultimately what I want to show you with this is how you don't have to be perfect for it to turn out wonderful in the end. So continue watching. Okay, so here it is, all painted. You can see it's still a little bit wet. The green leaves are shiny because they're still wet, but you can see the score marks that show through the paint somewhat on the white, because of course a white is a lighter paint. And now I'm going to just put some shading in here, and I am going to use some paint pens to go over all these score marks and hide where I kind of drew or painted out of the lines. Now, to paint door hangers, it's really important to have a nice set of brushes in different sizes. I like a really thin brush and all the way up to about an inch brush. So I use this little brush quite a bit. It's pretty fine detailed brush. And let me see if I can show you another one that I use a lot. I use this brush quite a bit, a small little brush. And then I also use, my brushes are still wet and dirty, but I want to show them to you. I use this brush a lot for the big areas. That's a 1-inch brush. So you want a variety of brushes. Now, one other thing I want to show you are these magnificent, magical paint markers. These paint markers are called Posca pens, and they're very expensive. However, you will go a long way of buying a kit or a package of a set of 6, 3 white and 3 black, and they come in 3 different sizes. So this is like this is the medium size Posca pen in white, and this is what the tip looks like. That's the medium size, and I use the medium size most frequently. So get yourself some Posca pens. White and black will be just fine in the 3 small, medium, large, the fine tip, the medium tip, and then the large tip. I don't have the extra large tip. I don't use it. So those 3. It will probably run you around $30 for the set of 6 pens. Expensive, but worth it. And you'll see that in just a few minutes when we use that. So stay tuned for the next video on how I add a little bit of shading into these white leaves here, or I'm sorry, these white petals of the flower and the leaves here. I like to take the color paint that I used on these, add just a tiny little bit of white, and I like to just use a 1/4 inch brush in my finger to add some different highlight and definition. So we'll see you in just a second for that. All right, so just a minute ago I told you that I like to add a little bit of shading with the main color that I used on each area. So we're gonna start with the leaves right now, and I just put a dot of white on my paint palette right here, and I've got a little bit of the green in my brush, and I'm just gonna mix that into my paint, or mix that green into my white. And I'm just holding the camera, so it's probably not the greatest video, but it will give you an idea of how I do all of this. I'm not at the studio, so I don't have access to all the equipment there. So we're just winging this. All right, so I've got that color whited down, muted down quite a bit. And I'm just gonna take a bit on my brush, and I'm gonna come over to my leaf here. And I am going to just swipe this along the outside like that. Now, sometimes if I get it too thick, I'll just take my finger and I will just smooth it out just like that. That's how I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna do the same thing right here. Now this is that 1/4 inch brush that I was telling you about. Now I'm going to pick up just a little bit more paint. I'm going to come over to this leaf and I'm going to do the same thing. And you can see it doesn't have to be perfect. But when we get all done, it's going to be fantastic. All right, so stay tuned for the next part. All right, so now I'm going to add some shading to the leaves of the magnolia flower, and I used Sweater Weather to paint it, and because I can't lighten Sweater Weather up that much to make it significant, I took a little bit of the Sweater Weather and added just a tiny little bit of Joshua Tree paint to it, and this is what I have here. You can see the difference in the colors right there. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit of that. You can see I roll my brush, it keeps my bristles together. And then I'm just gonna come over here and I am going to add just some swipes in some areas, not all over the place, just a few areas of the petals. Now this doesn't have to be perfect, you guys, because you're just adding some highlights to it. Variation in color, trying to show some depth. All right, I'm gonna do the other one and we'll come back and see what it looks like when I'm all done. All right, so here is what it looks like with all the highlighting on it, all the shading with this, just the paint, the same paint colors I used, but added just a little bit of white to them with the exception of the magnolia flower, which I add a little bit of brown to that sweater weather. So now I am going to use my Posca pen to do some outlining. And what I'm going to do is I am going to trace, basically just trace all of those scored lines. And I'm even going to trace the outside edges. Right, so here's what that's going to look like. I'm going to try my best here to show you guys while holding this camera. So I just take my Posca pen and I'm just tracing on those lines. When we're all done, we're going to come back and we're going to finish the inside of that flower a little bit differently. But for right now, we are just doing the tracing. Try to keep one smooth line running from one end of the score mark to the other, so you don't get what I just did in the start of this one. I'll go back and show you in just a second. Right here, you can see where I stopped and then picked up, and I don't want that to happen. So when you start it, do it from start to finish. All right, we are gonna finish this whole entire thing like that. This whole entire thing. So we'll come back when it's all done. Okay, I've outlined everything with my wonderful Posca paint pen. I have to do the center of the flower, which I'm gonna do those little things in it, like a brighter yellow, I believe. So, and we're gonna add some white to this, but I just wanted to show you like what a paint pen going around the edges will do if you colored outside of the lines. So there you have it. Okay, we'll be back in just a second. Okay, and here it is, all completely highlighted, shaded, some white paint marker in there, some more accents with the black paint marker. How cute is that? I do have a cutout, it's home, and a word cutout that I'm gonna put right up here. So I'll probably paint that black, I think. Black or the color of the leaves, I'm not sure yet. And I'll put that on, and then we'll add a cute little whimsical bow to it, or a bow cluster, and that will be our magnolia lantern door hanger. Hope you enjoyed this short little tutorial. I would love to make a full-length tutorial on how I paint the door hangers, but like I talked about in the very beginning when I started this, it takes me hours sometimes to paint a door hanger because I don't sit down and do it all in one sitting. All right, guys, thanks for watching.